What's up, everybody? I really didn't want the first video I put out to be shot from the cab of my truck, but I really wanted to get something out here for the new year to go over a topic that's dear and close to me. It is something that's changed my life, and it is something I've created an entire brand for and around an entire product for, and that is fasting. Intermittent fasting. Like I said, it has changed my life. It changed the way I've thought about nutrition, and not in the way you think, not in the way that's typically thought of in today's crash diet, fad diet society. But like I said, I wanted to get something out there quick and something that you can understand, not with a lot of mumbo jumbo about specific scientific methods and reasons and certain foods to break your fast with. All that'll come later, and let's just get started. So if you're wondering what this thing is, I just had rotator cuff surgery, and just like I had on my right, I had it done on my left. Been at this a long time, so if you're at this a long time like I have, chances are you've either had one of these or you will have one. So it is what it is. You put in the therapy. That's where I'm going right now, and you put in the time to fix it. Don't whine about it. Get it done. Get back in the gym. Pretty much plain and simple, cut and dry. I had an awesome doctor, Dr. Damon Petty. He is the Tennessee Titans doctor in Nashville. It's my 5th surgery with him, and I have no reason to believe that this one's going to be any less successful than the other 4. So anyway, let's get to it. Fasting. I might go all around the world and back again, and I'll try to stay on topic, try to stay in a reasonable outline, and explain this. It's not hard whatsoever. All you're doing is shaving off the first 400 to 500 calories of your day that you normally would have eaten with breakfast and a snack in between. And so you're prolonging your fast all the way through lunchtime. And giving credit to where I learned this from, giving credit who is the master of this, and that is LEANGAINS. You need to go to leangains.com and learn something. All these people who are claiming things now, and they're this, they're that, they're the first. You need to go to LEANGAINS and learn what that man's all about. And like I said, all you're doing is you're shaving off the first 300 to 500 calories of the day. And when you're forcing it like that, you're forcing that caloric restriction maybe in a little bit more harsh way than you would by normal dieting. And the fact is, by doing that, and if you maintain an even and regular diet when you do start eating, it's impossible to make up that deficit that you caused yourself in the morning. Thus, forcing the deficit day after day after day, equating in a overall caloric deficit to create weight loss. That's all you're doing. All the magic, all the mumbo jumbo that comes with it, you know, it is what it is. I don't want to be negative about a lot of things, but I've been at this 8 years, and a lot of the things that I started believing back then have fallen by the wayside. They were the fads. They were the BS at the time. And when it comes down to it, guys, it's all about calories in, calories out. Plain and simple. So, getting back on topic, rule number 1, you must have meals available. You must have a viable, responsible diet in place, and whether if that's entire meals cooked and frozen, stored away, or if you do like I do, where you cook your meats and you store all your meats in weighed increments, you must have responsible meals available. Why? Because you need to go through a change in lifestyle. You need to eat responsibly. You need to get into this. You need to eat, live, and breathe nutrition. And once you get good at it, you can back off a little bit. But for the first 3-6 months, you need to be really into this. It will work. You have to find your BMR. Sometimes that's a lot lower than people like to believe or think. Unfortunately, I'm one of them. And a lot of people who say I do count calories, I do track calories, I am in a deficit and I'm still not losing weight. I'm sorry, you're not. It's very, very, very little, very few times that you find that someone is hormonally off when they just can't lose weight. Naturally, I mean, if they're on a medication, if they're on things like that, then sure. But just someone who's just, overweight and wants to lose weight and they just can't, and they're what they think is eating responsibly, I'm sorry, you're not. And another thing, I hope you don't get mad. I'm not trying to piss you off or anything, but most people who are overweight, most people who are overweight and trying to lose weight are fatter than they think. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. They are fatter than they think. You see it all the time when they claim they have a friend who's 2% body fat, 3% body fat. Sorry, it's just not possible. And people are very poor judge of body fat. People are not as active as they think either. When they type in the information into these online BMR calculators, which I do recommend you start with. Start with 2 or 3. Get your BMR, get your caloric intake for the day. I would do 2 or 3 different ones, and they all should be about the same. Start from there. But if you don't lose, you have to go down. Plain and simple. And that's all macros: fat, carbs, protein, all of it. It's a science. You have to work with it, and it will work for you. But you have to work with it. It's not going to be easy. Let me back up. For some people, the day you start fasting, the first couple weeks, it will be magic. It will just fall off. It was kind of like that for me, but I was very, very active at the time. I was in the gym a lot, and that's all there is to it. If you're not very active and you start fasting, it's probably not going to be very effective for you. You have to meet in the middle. You have to have output as well. You can't just rely for the first couple weeks, maybe a month. Diet may do it alone. You may have a gradual weight loss, but you really need to kick the output in gear and meet in the middle. And really, the magic is when you start weightlifting. When you start weight training 3 or more days a week, and you start mixing in your cardio, and you really get cranking, you will lose weight. It'll fall off. It'll fall off in normal caloric restriction, but let's be honest, the reason why we're doing this in the first place, fasting, it is a more extreme. It may seem like a fad, but it's not. It may seem like an extreme way to lose weight, but that's what the people who have to do this need. It is extreme. Why? Because we suck at dieting. We do. I do. Whenever I was doing bro dieting and regular eating the past 20 years or so, I sucked. I know, I'm looking at it now, I ate way more than I should have. Just because I was eating healthy, my caloric intake was crazy stupid. So, all this is, guys, is a reprogramming of your brain. You're choosing to use a different operating system. That's all it is. Regular eating, maybe Android, this is Mac. It's a different way of thinking, but it gets you to the same place, gives you the same results, but it's just a different way of thinking, because that's the way we're programmed. That's all there is to it. It's not magic. It's about calories. The drastic way that you do it may force a little bit of changes in fat storage patterns and such like that, but we can get into that later. But I wouldn't look for that. That's all the stuff that you may try to do once you get really good at this. Once you get good at eating and get good at a different lifestyle, and you start losing weight, and then you want to start having fun with it, then start working with the variables and the crazy stuff. And fine-tuning, okay, and what to break your fast on, what's the perfect food to eat for this. Totally unnecessary, but it can be fun because it does get boring after the first 6 or 7 months, and you're losing weight, and you know everybody else is eating around you, and they're eating breakfast, and you're not. You know, it gets a little old, but it is a lifestyle change, and it is something that you do have to sacrifice a lot for. Not gonna lie, there's times when you want to totally jump ship. You know, you have maybe some blood sugar swings, you're dizzy, you're nauseous, your stomach feels like you're tied in knots. All I can say is you have to push through. I've never had one last longer than 2 or 3 minutes. It may seem more like 10 or 12, but it's not really. It's 2 or 3 minutes, and I always call that the switch over period. It's probably nothing, but once I get past it, I'm good for the day. When I'm really dieting, I still have those blood sugar swings because I still eat carbs. Maybe my body's trying to get rid of some of that last glucose. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys can chime in on that. Knowledgeable people chime in on why that happens. But again, you know, you may go through some real hunger periods, some real twists in your stomach. Push through it. You'll get through it. Chug some water. I have an entire product built for this that I'm not going to get into now. I'm not going to sell it because I don't recommend it until you really get good at this. Anyway, rule number 2: you must exercise. You must. You can't just rely on not eating to be healthy and to be functional. It's unsustainable. It's unrealistic. You can't. I mean, you can only not eat so much, really. You have to pick up the output, whether that's just walking, or whether if that's biking, or whether you may be a full-blown mad person and you hike, CrossFit, weight train, whatever it is, you have to exercise. You have to burn those calories. You have to give your you have to give your body a reason to break through those plateaus. Your body is amazing. It's built to endure. It's built to thrive. It's built to grow and to overcome and adapt. You look at the biochemistry of everything that goes on with your body. It points towards you are an adapter. You are crazy amazing. You just have to feed it and treat it like the amazing thing that it is. I compare a lot of things that go on with the body and exercise with cars. My dad thankfully taught me how to work on vehicles, and all my friends, I'm from the 90s, guys. We were car heads, we were gear heads. We fixed our own vehicles, we built our own vehicles, stereo systems, all that stuff. And coming from that, you can relate a lot how a car system is very close to the human body, with obvious differences, but it makes it very easy to explain. You can use the car to explain things that go on in the body. Definitely helps for coaches and teachers, but you don't treat your Shelby Mustang like crap. You don't put bad gas in it. You get the oil changed, you wash it, you make sure everything's up to spec. It's a Shelby. That's what it's built for. Now, you may not treat your old 95 Cavalier the same way. You should, but you may not. But it's not a Shelby. You need to be a Shelby. If you don't know what a Shelby is, a Shelby Mustang is a badass vehicle. You need to look it up. This isn't tech talk, but you need to look up what a Shelby Mustang is. Or if you're a Camaro person, a Z28, you know what I'm talking about. Same thing. You don't treat your Z28, you don't treat your Shelby Mustang like a piece of shit. You treat it well. You put the right nutrients in it. You put the right stuff in it. And if you don't, things back up, right? Things get clogged. Things don't work like they should. What happens? You got major repairs. It's no different than the body. No different. What do you do to get it back in shape? You gotta work on it. You gotta clean the fuel lines out. It takes time. All right. You gotta start putting the right gas in it, putting the right oil in it, driving it, tuning it. may have to do a few things, replace a few parts. No different. All right, it's the same thing. So number 2, you must exercise. You have to find your stroke. You gotta find it. It has to work, and it has to coincide with your diet, and that's all gonna tailor your macros to what you do, whether if you're a high protein diet person, if you're a high carbohydrate person, if you're a high fat person. It all coincides with your output. All right, but just to start things, number 1, have your meals in place. Number 2, have your exercise in place. Know what you're gonna do. And this leads to number 3, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I cannot express the crap out there, and I didn't want to make this video negative, but guys, keep it simple. The insanity that is out there about fasting and the magics that it can cause. Let me tell you, just because you all of a sudden start fasting and claim fasting status doesn't put you in this magic brood of wizards and witches that you can just magically lose weight now. I'm a faster, I lose weight. No, sorry, it doesn't work like that. Your calories in, calories out matters. Just for some of you, you shaved off the first 300 or 400 or 500 calories that you normally took in, and now you're losing weight. I mean, it's mathematic. So what kills me is all the stuff that you see out there. There's so much of it. It just clogs the information channel, clogs what you can actually learn, and I believe it just deters people from even starting. There's so much crap and mumbo jumbo out there about what to do, what not to do, who to listen to, what type of exercise to do, all because you're just not eating. That's it. That's it, guys. We all know somebody that we've worked with, your dad worked with, or I worked with, or you worked with somewhere, just hard as nails, gritty MRFer, who doesn't eat in the morning, just drinks coffee. He shows up for work, he gets his stuff done, he's hard as nails, you can see it. There's no magic. He just didn't eat a bunch of crap in the morning. He just didn't eat a donut, didn't pound down a gallon of creamered coffee with a bagel and all this other stuff that, he didn't really need, and he doesn't eat until lunch. That is a life example. He doesn't know he's fasting. He doesn't know he's an intermittent faster. He just doesn't. And maybe that's not the best fitness example to look at, but the human physiology standpoint, that's all you're doing. You're just not eating in the morning. And there's new studies being held. There's things now that it's come to prominence, fasting has, that you see more and more people take an interest to it. And maybe some of the things that are typically the magic side, the bro science of fasting, maybe some of that stuff will be studied, and it will come to light that some of those things are true, and then that's cool. But for now, I mean, the magic of it is you've been able to reprogram yourself. You normally ate poorly in the morning, or maybe you weren't eating the best in the morning. Maybe you really weren't eating for an athletic lifestyle or an athletic diet, but now you are. You're taking the time. You're reaching a 0 point in the morning. I call it the perch. You're perched up high. You haven't taken up any calories. You're at 0 point. There's no stress. There's nothing crazy. You're at the 0 point. You haven't eaten anything, and you can get a grand scope over what you're going to do for the day, your meal plan, your daily plan. Maybe you may think ahead a couple of days and know that I'm going to take in less calories today because tomorrow I'm going to cheat, or I'm going on a function, or I'm going to, whatever it is you may have to eat. You can't just be unsocial, okay? But again, you may know that your calorie intake is going to be crazy high in a couple days, and maybe today I don't eat that bar I normally eat, or I don't have that cup of rice. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's scientific, it's variables, it's things you have to work with to make this successful. And I am at my therapy appointment. I'm going to go in here and bust this out, and then I'm going to come back out here and talk to you again. So you just can't not eat. It's not sustainable. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable, and it's not healthy. Any athlete, and that's what you want to be. You want to be an athlete, guys. Any athlete needs nutrition, needs to eat responsibly, needs to be a good example. You just can't fast continuously 36, 72 hours over and over and over, and it's just not sustainable. It leads to issues, leads to digestive issues, it leads to binge eating, it leads just to unhealthy eating habits, period. So yeah, you have to exercise, you got to be an animal at it, and you have to pick up the intensity, you have to be good at it, and it just needs to be what you do and become. You need to become an athlete, okay? Going to Costco. A lot of people here on New Year's Eve. So, what I am going to do, I can cut through all the information, all the talk, and all the mess, and I can lay out an exact diet for you to follow. An exact diet.